And shout out to De'Aaron Fox, who doesn't want to go to the All-Star game. Let me read you the quote.
Yeah,
I got the quote for you. Because we literally yesterday we were talking about this. Like, man, if you were just Domantas Sabonis, and you were gonna be an injury replacement, would you want to go? Like, that was the whole premise.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what De'Aaron Fox said to Chris Biederman in the Sacramento Bee, and you can read this at sacbee.com. Quote, "I don't really care about being an all-star. Plus, Indiana's cold."
It is.
End quote. And then he said, when asked to elaborate, he said, quote, "I don't really have an answer for that. I can't control the way I feel about things." And I think it's fascinating. And great job by Chris, who co-hosts one of the world's finest podcasts, Candlestick Chronicles. I think it's fascinating that De'Aaron would say that publicly, but B, that's how he feels, because we make such a thing out of the All-Star game, and the NBA makes such a thing out of the All-Star game, right? And you go down as a 10-time All-Star, like, damn, that guy was a 10-time. He's an All-Star. And De'Aaron Fox looks to be on track to be that kind of player where, dang, end of his career, he's a 10, 11-time All-Star. But then he sits there and he's like, nah, don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched the way that he made the All-Star team last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've known De'Aaron since he was 19 years old, right? I've interviewed him hundreds of times over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about him is he feels that way. He doesn't want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he does want the respect that comes with it. He does believe. So when he did get into the All-Star game last year, his quote to us was, "Well, it's about time." And it's like, yeah, I knew that if we won games, I would get into the All-Star game, because that's the way the NBA works. There's a mechanism in place here that you make it to this level, you get into the All-Star game. But the reality of getting on a plane and going to Utah, you could see from the moment he stepped on the court, like, get me out of here. I do not want to do this. And this comes back a little bit to the fact that De'Aaron is an introvert, right?
Mm-hmm.
The All-Star weekend is about it's about getting carted, like thrown on a bus or in a really nice car and moved from one location to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next.
So people can talk at you.
Signing autographs, going into like build a house. Like they have, Habitat for Humanity stuff. They have all of these community events. They have to go to like signings and picture takings and like all of this stuff.
And this doesn't even include the media responsibilities in game.
Well, but there's also like shoe companies are there. There are parties that you have to go to. You have to make appearances at. Like, it is draining for these guys. It's not a 3-day weekend break. And that's why even I think last year, Keegan Murray ended up leaving right after like the rookie, the
Rising Stars Challenge.
Yeah, the Rising Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he took off like the next morning and was on a plane somewhere else. Like, players need to get away. An 82 game schedule is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I just don't know that it helps him to advertise it this way, because the decision's already made. Like TNT already has a briefcase, and somebody at TNT already knows everybody that's going to be. Yeah. They've already cut all of the little promos for each player.
Right.
Like, it's already done. So there's a good chance he's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
But this does, in a way, cheapen the event, at least from him. Like, he doesn't want to be there.
Real quick. The players have already done that, though. Like, that's why the NBA is trying to change the rules to make it a competitive game again.
Yeah.
Because it is, I mean, you got 160 something to 170 something. Like, it's already a fake basketball game.
It's a fake basketball game, but they do that because the players don't want anyone getting hurt.
Sure.
What you don't want to do is, what Paul George was doing, like a Team USA thing when he snapped his leg.
Yeah.
Like, this is something where you're trying to have a good time, put on a little bit of a show people what you can do. What I don't see De'Aaron Fox doing is like what Mitch Richmond did in the 1990s, where he goes to All-Star Weekend and he wins the MVP. Like, Fox doesn't have it. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And to me, it's okay that he doesn't care. I totally get that. But I think it doesn't really help him to actually say that. And because next year, if he is put up for an All-Star, if this is where, if he is a multi-time All-Star here, it's possible he doesn't get in. And then where are you?
But he doesn't care. And if he's making all NBA teams and the Kings are going to the playoffs, like, I honestly, what we're going to talk about Steve Clifford later and what he said about his Hornets team.
Yeah.
But I kind of, I enjoy the honesty here, and that De'Aaron doesn't go like, oh, yeah, it's a great honor to be among the league's best competitor. Like, he does that every night. He's the best player on the floor most nights already.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to prove anything by going to Indiana and playing 9 minutes in a All-Star game.
Yeah, the only thing I would like respond is that people remember this.
Mhm.
That
No,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
this is not something that you just say and then it's no longer a big deal. Like, this could linger, and again, next season,
In what
you might not be given an all-star bid because of it, and the next season after that, you might not be an all-star. And like, look, the people who vote you into All-NBA,
Mhm.
they may remember that. The guys that vote you into the Hall of Fame down the road, they may remember that you're ambivalent to this and that you don't really care. And, like, I think that that's part of it. Like, Fox is going to get paid no matter what, right? He's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the focuses for him has always been like, look, I want to set up my family for the rest,
Mhm.
not only my family, but like generational wealth,
Mhm.
which he's establishing right now. I mean, he's got
Yeah.
his Under Armour deal now. He's got a gigantic contract that
Mhm.
it's only going to get bigger.
Yes.
But in order for him to maximize his money, he needs to be all NBA again, because you go from 30% of the cap to
Mhm.
35% of the cap if you're all NBA,
Right.
for
But
2 years in a row.
But okay, so let me take this out to its conclusion then, because you're positing that this is bad for De'Aaron, him saying this publicly.
I just don't like, you can have that opinion, but I don't know that sharing it helps you.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what my like.
So we're drawing this out to its conclusion then. So out beyond just because if the argument is, well, now they're not going to make him an all-star anymore. Well, he already has established that he doesn't care. So that's not a negative for me.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you saying that this is going to affect people now voting for him for all NBA?
I think it's possible because, again, like, voters, you do have like,
He didn't say I don't care about awards. I don't care about. He's just saying I don't want to go hang out in Indiana for a weekend and
well,
go to the All-Star festivities.
but that's kind of the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's part of the deal.
Mhm.
And I get, if he doesn't want to be part of that, it's okay for him to feel that way. And
Mhm.
and it's okay for him to say it, because now, I mean, it's probably going to become like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, do you think if you're the face of Under Armour, that Under Armour was really excited to read that Sacramento Bee quote yesterday?
No, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
Especially because he's under the Curry brand, right?
Yeah.
And Steph Curry is the guy out there always just saying the right thing, whether he believes it or not.
Yeah.
So
And
that I understand. That I get. That I get. The one thing I think I would push back on the most here is that this would somehow impact his Hall of Fame chances. Because whether he wants to go or not, I don't know that people are going to necessarily factor that in when it comes to fan voting. If he's averaging 30 a night and the Kings are 15 games over 500,
yeah,
like
but
De'Aaron Fox is one of the-
fan voting's never going to help him because he's in Sacramento. We finished like
not
seventh, seventh in fan voting.
No, I get not if he continues doing this over the next few years and they're going to the playoffs every year and they're winning playoff series. Like, that's how you build that popularity. He's just not there yet.
No, okay.
So I don't even know if this is going to affect him all-star wise specifically. And you mentioned Hall of Fame chances. And I go back to what I just said. If De'Aaron is this player where he is, I'm not even going to say 30, 28, 29 points a game, and his 3-point shooting continues to be as good as it is, and the Kings are going to the playoffs and they're going to the conference finals and they're going to the finals over the a few times over the next 6, 7, 8 years, whatever the length of his prime is going to be, 10 years, whatever, then like he's going to the Hall of Fame.
No, probably. But you need a resume to get into the Hall of Fame. And this is part of it. Like, I'm not saying that because of this, he's not getting in the Hall, but it is part of it.
Mhm.
And so, like, I know he doesn't want to embrace it, and that's okay.
Mhm.
But you got to remember what you're doing is when you're not endorsing something like this. This
Yeah.
is the league.
Yeah.
This is a league's baby.
Yeah.
It's their showcase,
Mhm.
and you don't want to be part of it.
You also just to that point and make it a little more micro to Sacramento, you also have a marketing team that's been working their asses off to get people to go out and vote.
Yeah.
There are television commercials about it. They're putting up billboards at the games.
They gave me a lunchbox.
They're giving out lunch boxes and saying, "Hey, promote this. Get votes."
And then you have him going,
"It's a triple vote day." That would suck. You know what? That would suck if I was out there with the Kings and putting together all these things, and De'Aaron's like, "I don't even want to go." No, I think the other thing is I think there's an important context here where this is the response to, because we don't know if he's getting in yet or not. And I assume he is, but we don't know.
Yep.
And from his standpoint, it's like, I don't care that much to go. If I don't get in, I'm not going to lose sleep and flip a table. And, Rudy Gobert, okay? Remember Rudy Gobert cried. Like, that was something that was that meaningful to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, he wanted it and he didn't get in. And De'Aaron's not going to go do that. De'Aaron's not going to lose sleep over this.
No.
And I think that's an important context to this.
Yeah, like the confidence of him and like his want to be himself and to not want to buy into the machine that is like the self-promoting thing that is the NBA.
Right.
That's okay.
Sure.
It is. Sure. And for that matter, like the NBA as a marketing machine has done nothing but disrespect him as a player for the first 6 years of his career.
No doubt.
It wasn't until year 7, year 8 where they're like, hey, let's put him on national TV 22 times. Before that, it was like, forget them. We don't even need to play him. So I could see that being another thing where it's like, look, you guys didn't want me for all this time, but now you want me. And I'm not really down for it. I would rather have my week off. You guys got me for the first 6, 7 years of my career. You let me have a week off in the middle of the season. He did go to All-Star weekend for like the rookie challenge, the rookie sophomore game.
Yeah. But
outside of that, I think there's a certain part of this where you're like, I don't really know that you wanted me as part of your club. And now that we're one of the cool kids, you want me part of your club. And I'm not really down for it because now I'm married and I've got a small child and I want to be a dad for a week and I want to be a husband and all these things and take a break and let my body heal. And so I get it. But putting it out there is a whole nother thing because again, it becomes almost like the Charles Barkley, I'm not a role model,
right?
Where it has every possibility of blowing up in your face.
And if you guys missed it in the Sacramento Bee today, Chris Biederman wrote about this with De'Aaron Fox saying that he does not want to go to the All-Star game. The full teams will be announced later on today.
I should also
find out whether De'Aaron Fox is or is not, in fact, an All-Star.
That's right. And I'm not roasting Fox. I'm just being honest with you guys. And I will also tell you, Kyle, and I've said it many times. I don't want to go to the All-Star game. Like you go once or twice and you're like, this is a mess. It's not fun. It's chaotic. There's no one-on-one time. The coolest thing about All-Star weekend is that there are Hall of Famers there and there's a Hall of Fame ceremony where you go and like, I'm sitting there like walking up to Hakeem Olajuwon and interviewing him. That's the coolest thing for me. Yeah. Outside of that, it's a mess. Nothing is like you're in a big giant room with a whole bunch of players in the scrum. And then some local reporter asks every single player, if you were a Smoothie King smoothie, what flavor would you be?